To battle and bravery born, to battle and bravery Tyvar Kell returns, with boasts upon his lips and black tidings in his heart. Skemfar welcomes its wayward son with open arms. After the ozone-laden atmosphere of New Phyrexia and the acrid safe-house swamp in Dominaria, it is a welcome thing to breathe in good forest air into his lungs. But the moment he arrives, he knows he is too late. It is not to welcoming cheers he returns, but to the clatter of swords against metal, the howl of arrows in flight, and the screams of the pierced. In the distance, a sanguine ophidian the size of a mountain strangles the world tree. White armor, glacier thick, protects it. Pods fall, the shed scales of this foul serpent, and the ground trembles with every arrival, each one met with the hammer of war. War drums beat in time with his own wild heart as he pushes his way into the melee. Glory drives his limbs. He ducks the scythe-like limb of an enemy, changes his own arm into metal, drives it through the thing's head. An instant later, he's swaying out of the way of an axe as it takes out another. A cheer ringing out from behind him gladdens his heart. The end of days has come to Kaldheim, and the elves of Skemfar meet it head-on. Tyvar sees his brother fighting alongside his people, surrounded by skalds and banners. "Here for the dregs?" Harold calls to him. "There'll be plenty, and more coming," Tyvar says. Something that was once a giant hurls a boulder towards them. The others scatter, but Tyvar plants his feet. From the earth he draws his strength, and with a single blow shatters the rock. He grins. "You must have been struggling before I returned." Harold shakes his head. "Enough of that. Do you know of anything that can help us? Who are these creatures?" "Phyrexians," Tyvar answers. A scream takes his attention. One of the elves has found himself caught in the belly of a giant skeletal wolf. Tyvar winces. "See there? They'll bathe him in oil, and then he'll become more metal than elf. After that, the changes start. Won't be long before he tear off his own father's skin." A dozen warriors meet the hound, 2 coming in on each side to flank. Hammers ring against steel. "They won't stop until everything in Kaldheim's like they are. I've been to their home, brother. It is lifeless, without song." He swallows. The next part isn't easy to say, and yet it must be said. This isn't an enemy the elves can vanquish alone. The cosmos itself reinforces his grim warning. The ground roars and shakes beneath their feet, white light leaking up from the opening crevices. Tyvar knocks against his brother. Harold steadies him, and then points to the opening doom scar. "It seems we won't be alone for long." Phyrexians and elves alike plummet into the hungry earth. Shifting lights render them silhouettes as the cosmos claims them. Unsated, the light creeps higher and higher still, until at last torrents of water emerge. Tyvar scrambles, sinking to the ground, creating a platform for him and his people. His muscles strain under the force of his magic, shifting between rock and water, rock and water. When he sees the first of the longboats cresting the water, Tyvar knows he's going to be at this for a while. Maybe longer than he can manage. If he fails, the elves will be washed away as surely as the Phyrexians. The lives of his people are in his hands. He can't fail. Tyvar Kell bellows a war cry. As his body battles the tides in the rock, he feels alive. And while he's doing the simple thing, his brother handles what's more complicated. Omen seekers aboard the ships call out to the stranded elves, their captain leading. "It is the end of all things. Will the elves come and join the fight?" "The elves will lead it," is Harold's proud answer. "On to the ships!" Tyvar's shoulders tremble with effort, yet he holds fast to the earth. Each pair of fleeing feet shrinks the platform, smaller and smaller, until only he and Harold remain on the rock. He can hardly believe what he sees when he looks at the ships.
Continue reading on magic.wizards.com/story or click the link in the description.